ever finish a crazy busy week and think, what did I actually accomplish as a leader? And if you're nodding right now, you're not alone. You're in back-to-back meetings, responding to emails, putting out fires. The week just flies by, doesn't it? And by Friday, you wonder, did I actually lead my team or did I just get through? This is a trap many managers fall into. They plan for work, but they don't plan for leadership. And that's why so many get stuck, constantly busy, but never truly making an impact. You see, most managers think if they just get better at their time management, everything will just fall into place. They plan their tasks, their deadlines, reports, meetings, but they don't plan for leadership. So what's missing? And I see this with clients so often. There's no space for deeper strategic thinking, no time for coaching your team, and no time to build those important relationships with key contacts and stakeholders. You're constantly reacting. And when it comes time for promotions, strategic projects, and bigger leadership opportunities, you're overlooked. Not because you're not capable, but because you're stuck in execution mode instead of stepping up as a leader. The best leaders don't just plan their work, they plan how work gets done. Let me show you the difference. So there's task-based planning, and this is what most managers do, focusing on completing reports, attending meetings, clearing emails, doing the work. But leadership-based planning asks deeper questions. Where are you heading? What are you aiming to achieve? What are your priorities? What potential blockages do you need to address? And which team members need that little bit of extra help? See the difference? One is about completing tasks and the other is about leading people. To help my clients distinguish between leadership and management, I share a framework called C.A.T. I know it's not the furry kind. C.A.T stands for clarity, alignment, and trust. So let me explain why these elements will step change your leadership. Clarity is about understanding your direction, your vision, values, and strategy, not just for the organization, but for your team as well. It's about knowing your team, who they are, why they're in your team, and what they want to achieve. While managers often have a general sense of direction, they sometimes struggle with clarifying these details, making work meaningful, and understanding how to get the best out of their team. Now, you may have the best plan in the world, but if you can't bring others along, you're going nowhere. That's where alignment comes in, ensuring everyone is moving in the same direction. So you would start with your team, and the best way to create alignment moments is through regular and consistent one-on-one meetings, moments to connect, guide, support, and coach. Then you need to consider your stakeholders, the people who help you achieve your work goals. You need to know who they are and establish a system to connect with them and keep them aligned. You need to plan the conversations that make the difference. Finally, you need to run effective meetings. Now, these are crucial moments of alignment. They move work forward. So you need to lead and participate in meetings with intentionality. Finally, there's the T of C.A.T, trust. Trust is like oil in the engine of leadership. Without it, between you and your team and your colleagues, everything slows down. Work becomes merely transactional. It still functions, but you won't achieve high performance. To build trust, a leader must be self-aware, communicate effectively, be able to face into and handle difficult conversations when needed, maintain a growth mindset, and be a good coach. Remember, you can't coach anyone who doesn't trust you. What I love about this simple framework is that it gives you 3 essential questions. Am I and are we clear on what we're doing and where we're going? Are we aligned to get there? And do we trust each other? If you get a yes for all 3, you'll quickly create an environment where a high-performing team can flourish. And if not, you'll know exactly where to focus first. But without this next crucial part, you can still get stuck in the task loop. When I share this with clients, they often tell me that they love it. They get super clear on what they need to focus on, but then we usually run into the same challenge, time. In a world of endless to-do lists, how do you ensure you're focused on leadership planning? The answer is a system. James Clear wrote in his book, Atomic Habits. If you haven't read it, I would highly recommend it. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. This quote emphasizes that success comes from not setting ambitious goals, but from building reliable systems that support you achieving those goals day in, day out. And it's particularly relevant for leadership, where consistent actions and habits matter more than occasional bursts of inspiration. Let me introduce you to the quarterly leadership planning framework. The secret to staying in control as a leader is planning not just what you'll do, but how you'll lead. This framework ensures you're focusing on the right things at the right time, asking yourself the right questions at the right time, when you have time on your side and can do something about it. A quarterly framework is perfect. I call it the Goldilocks of planning for leaders. Annual planning, although vital, is just too big picture, while weekly planning, absolutely essential, but it provides too short a time frame to step back from the action. So quarterly planning is the just right, allowing you to assess your leadership priorities and make decisions that will significantly impact your team's performance. So let's walk through the framework. Step 1 is the quarter. Every 90 days, you take a step back and you ask yourself, what are your biggest leadership goals for the quarter? What are yours and your team's priorities? What are your team's needs and how could you support them? Which relationships do you need to build? And how do you want to grow as a leader? This isn't about business results, it's about how you lead your team. This is such a powerful moment to get right. If you give yourself just 2 or 3 hours every quarter, you will be amazed at how it will accelerate your leadership impact. But if you want the full impact, then there's more to the system. Step 2 is the monthly check-in. At the start of each month, you do a quick reset. Are you on track? Where do you need to shift focus? Who in your team needs a bit of extra support? This keeps you from drifting back into reactive mode. And where possible, schedule these activities to make it happen into your diary. Step 3 is weekly leadership planning. And this is where things really change. Every week, instead of just writing a to-do list, transfer your to-dos for both your leadership and your activity tasks into your calendar and make sure you've got enough time to do them all. Make sure you've blocked out time for one-on-one coaching sessions, strategic thinking and planning, and key stakeholder conversations. You need to spot those leadership opportunities. For example, instead of just putting team meeting in your calendar and immediately moving on to the agenda, ask yourself, what outcome do you really want from this meeting? How could you make it truly valuable? The final step, step 4, is the daily focus time. Each morning, take 5 minutes to focus. What are your priorities? Who do you need to support that day? And where should you be putting your energy? Because leadership isn't about getting through your inbox and your to-do list. It's about making an impact on people. This quick moment of intentionality helps you spot your leadership priorities and helps keep them front of mind. So what happens when you stop planning for tasks and start planning for leadership? Well, one thing's for sure. You're going to feel more in control, not just reacting to your day. Your team is going to thrive because they have real support from you. And as a result, you'll find other people want to get in your team and you'll start standing out as a strategic leader, which opens up the door for promotions and bigger opportunities. And the best part, you don't have to work harder, just smarter. The quarter planning time becomes a vital moment in your calendar. You will never let go as a result. If you want to understand more about what makes a great quarters planning session, in this video I explain in more detail the process and sharing the exact principles I teach my clients. So I recommend checking that video out next.